Hello and welcome to episode 55 of the Inventive Marketing Club. We're here every Friday morning so we can all build a better marketing strategy together. On this session, what we're doing is we're having an open club website review. We do this every couple of months, and it's where we bring on 2 or maybe 3 guest members for the month and look at their website or inspect their marketing and really try and dig deep into a particular page, providing some SEO tips, content ideas, or whatever it takes to help them move forward in their marketing or develop their website so that they get more visits to their website or more conversions, whatever they need. On today's show, Marta, do you want to introduce yourself and just say hello to everyone? Give us a little bit of a background of, of your business and what you're trying to achieve. And then we'll dive into a screen share and talk about your site.
Awesome. Okay, good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me. My name is Marta Rossato, and I have recently started my own business as an interior designer. So I've done that forever. It's just like I decided to get paid for it. So it's quite a change in a mindset. So I've met you, Ben, during the workshop the webinar from Cool Ventures.
That's right, yeah.
And so about my business, I am, as I said, interior designer. So I will be able to help you whether you want to go for a full room or house renovation, or just refreshing and giving a bit of soul to your place or work office. So anything which has got to do from involving construction to simply like redecorating. So that's what I do. So
I've just brought up your website so a lot of people can have a look at that while you're talking.
I have started working. So my website went live on October last year. My husband did it for me, so that was great because I planned everything, all the contents and all the structure, and he kind of implemented it. It's not like his job, as he's really good at it because he works in IT, so that was a great help. Yeah. So obviously I start putting in content, and I did a benchmark with competitors. With other interior designers. So I got ideas from them, and then I've tried to make it personal. I've used my own photos because I used to be a photographer. So I had a little bit of skill, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, where am I now? So especially following up from your workshop, from your webinar, it was incredibly helpful because whilst it literally blew my mind to start with, I was going, oh my God.
Hopefully in a good way.
It was just really, really a lot of content, a lot of information, very technical. But I took down a lot of notes, and then the recording was incredibly helpful, and also your slides. So I have, a kind of a clearer picture of what I needed to do. And I've started implementing, and I'm following your advice. I've started doing the research for the, what's it called? The answers to public and text.
Answer the public, yeah.
Yeah. So I checked the website and I realized, oh my God, I don't have keywords enough. And I have to say that I'm obviously not native English language. So my original language, my native language is Italian. So that doesn't, help in a way. So anyway, I started from there, and soon I now have a whole list of key words that I can then use on my website. I then went on to the set up a Google business profile. I've added a lot of contents because it was too short. Maybe the pages, they weren't long enough. And I've also added the frequently asked questions section to my website.
Oh, great. Okay, yeah, I see that.
Don't cry. Okay, so this is just the content. I know I need a structure to those, but this is a task I have for my husband, It's in the pipeline. I know you've mentioned schema.
Yes. Is that for FAQ, the frequently asked questions?
Yeah, the FAQ. So now it's just plain text, like paragraphs.
Mhm.
But that was one of my questions, that I had for you. So how do I, convert this into something that Google can, can understand and can optimize. So where I am now is I believe that my website is like at a good standard. So I've had a couple of people getting in touch with me after seeing the website and deciding, I was worth, hiring.
Great.
So,
that's good.
Yeah. So that's a very good feedback. But my website is like 0 level at optimizing, I believe. I don't know really what to do. I look at, when you go scroll down to your every single page and the SEO and the schema, everything is red and like with a sad face.
Is this on Yoast? Is this a WordPress site?
Yeah, it's a WordPress website.
So you're using Yoast, I'd imagine.
Well, yeah, it's there. I mean, I don't pay for it. It's like the free whatever.
Yeah.
But its feedback is always like depressing. So my key issues now after I did your webinar is like titles. So none of my titles are indexed as titles.
Okay, so do you want to give me an example of a page that you would like to
even the homepage or the interior,
Well, so let's have a look, shall we? Let's so this is your website, we can see here, and it looks like, I love the colors, love the color of the logo. It's and it sort of almost echoes it in some of the photography.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of like the contrast of the lighting looks really good. So I love the style of it. It's just, let's have a look at the structure to see if it helps Google at all. So if I go to inspect, I'm using a Safari browser, but Firefox and Chrome, they all do something similar. With Safari, you do have to turn on the developer mode to do that. But others like Chrome and Firefox, you can just do inspect anyway. But when you do, it brings up the actual elements behind the web page. So what we can do here is have a look and see if you've got that main title. So if I just go Command F and then search for a H1. So H1 on a page, I don't know if you remember, Marta, H1 is quite an important way of signifying what the content of the page is about. Now, there are lots of other different titles. You've got H1, H2, H3, and they kind of give a structure, a hierarchy of the site. Now, Google doesn't really care necessarily what number you use, but it's better to have just one H1 at the top and then have heading 2s further down the page, sort of breaking up that content. And then if you need to, heading 3s. So you've got heading 1, which is great. Now, what keywords would you like to optimize this particular page for?
I have no idea.
Okay. What do you think? So this is where the research comes in handy. What sort of keyword research have you done? Or I remember, I think this was before the call, you were talking about doing some competitor research. When you were looking at those sites, what words were they using on their pages?
So I have this in a Google file, but not at hand now. How do
That's all right. Well, maybe would it be words like interior designer? Or interior designer and location?
Interior, like Bristol interior design, for example.
Bristol interior designer, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would make sense, that people would be, when they know what they want, at least, they'll put in the product or the service and then a location if it's relevant.
Yeah, this is also one of the tips that you gave me. So I didn't even have the word Bristol in my landing page, in my home page. So I've added this, and I've also added the Italian, because Italian with design and style goes really well.
Yeah, and whether that's going to help with search engine optimization or not doesn't matter. It's good because it's a point of differentiation. People might want to use you because they don't want they want something a little bit different, and they feel that Italian is stylish, and so that's what they want. So I like that idea, and of course it is. So you're going to bring something different to someone who might be coming from a more British aesthetic. So I like that. That's good. So let's have a look through here. You mentioned Bristol. Let's see how many times you have Bristol in the content. So I'm just finding in the page.
I can tell you 1.
One. Okay. I would add it more times than that. Let's see. You can definitely add it there in Bristol. You could probably add it into a footer. So perhaps put Bristol, Bath and surrounding areas, or Bristol, Bath and the Cotswolds. Because certainly Bristol and Bath are two, I mean, they're going to be two big areas for your clients.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had a kitchen designer clients, and certainly they were based in Bristol, but also Bath was a big area for them, and certainly the Cotswolds. So I definitely try and get those keywords in.
Yeah.
So that's good. So yeah, try and get the keyword location in a bit more. You can do it. You can also add location in by getting client testimonials and mentioning the rough location where they are. That's a really good way of getting in the smaller villages or other places that are similar to or nearby other big cities. So it's a bit more rounded way of putting across location. But just going back to the heading 1 here. So the main heading, you've got Marta Rosato. Is that how, am I saying that correctly?
Yeah.
Interiors. So you've got the word interiors in there.
Yeah.
But I wonder if we want interior designer in. Obviously this is your main name. This is what you're called. So we don't want to change that, but it might be good to try and get interior designer in on this heading 1, if at all possible. I wonder if it could be the way this is structured, because it's a WordPress site, they tend to, unless you customize the template a lot, it tends to put the main title of the company, or the blog in this case, in WordPress, in the main heading. But I wonder if, because we've got your logo here on the left-hand side, I wonder if we could change this to something like Italian interior designer, or Bristol-based Italian interior designer, something like that, because we've already got your logo, so it's establishing your brand. But at the top, we actually have a title which reflects more closely with what people want. An interior designer in Bristol with the added Italian style. What do you think?
I think it's a very good suggestion. The only thing is that this is like the name of my company. So, you know,
I know it's a tricky one.
Yeah, you would know because it's your job, but also benchmarking other like interior designer, you know, the first thing that comes up is the name of their company, TME, you know, whatever, it's got to be there. So
I wonder if perhaps,
is there any other way, anywhere else we can put this? Maybe.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
instead of saying like welcome to Marta Rosato Interiors, which is like repetitive, can I add it there and tell whatever Google this is a headline too?
Well, what about you've got a strapline, signature interiors, everyday life. How important is that to you as a title?
This is okay. So talking about this bit, so the way I wanted it to be, it would be like a banner. So I did actually designed my logo, and I also designed a sort of banner where there was the logo on one side, and then the signature interiors everyday life it was super stylish, but my husband couldn't find a way to actually add this banner. It looked really like a huge, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I've studied a little bit, I did some research, and I know that there is a plugin maybe to do it, but I'm not sure. So this is not, it's the right content, but it's not how it should look. So for example, my question would be, would a banner be a good idea, or would Google not be able to index that?
Like an image banner, a big image banner.
Yeah,
with text in. Generally speaking, no. I'm sure behind the scenes, Google is reading images and reading text within images. It's very good at that. But generally speaking, it's advised not to have, not to rely on Google looking at text in an image, and actually, if you can, having text explicitly on the page in real text. So there are different ways of doing that. I actually quite like the cleanness of your site. I think it's, you know, having your logo off to the side and then showcasing the work that you do. From my perspective, that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in how in the result of what you do, like looking at the nice interiors and sort of scrolling through. The brand is useful to me once I recognize you and I want to work with you. I want to make sure that I see that on any communication that comes through. But before I know you, it's much more about, do I like the style? Do I like what you do, the end product? Because that's all I'm interested in. I don't care about you at this time. You know, I'm not I'm just saying, I need to get my house, maybe a living room, sort of freshened up a little bit, or I want a whole new look for the house. But I want to see whether your aesthetic matches what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
So if you have a big banner at the top, that could work, but I think it has to be done in the right way. I actually quite like the fact that the white draws you into these photos. But just coming back to the text, because obviously it's key to get the text onto the page. Let's assume we left this little section at the top. I'll just reset that. Well, I will just mention actually that the default way that WordPress seems to be working here is that this title at the top, this heading and signature, are present across all pages.
Yeah.
So they're exactly the same.
Yeah.
So I wonder, I generally wouldn't recommend this, but you might not be able to get away with it. But I wonder if we could put a H1 down here in this main content. So change this welcome to, and actually have a strong statement there. I'll see if I can do it just in this section to show you what it might look like. So if we I'll just change it to a short, simple phrase for the moment. And we'll just change it into a heading 1.
Wow. You see,
this is always interesting to see if it actually does work, because sometimes it messes up, but we'll see if we can get that to work. There we are. Maybe if we can get that on one line, it'd be better, or a few, make it longer, because having a straggling orphan word like that isn't very nice. But now, because of the way your website's laid out, that text draws me in a lot more, because it's next to the image. So it's one of the first things I see, because because this is the head at the top and the menu, my eye is drawn to the image and then to the text. So actually, this might work better, having a heading 1 here specifically for this page to allow you to get in the keywords interior designer, Bristol based. Might be better to have it the other way around, interior designer first, Bristol afterwards. I'll let you play with that, but definitely getting in those keywords in a heading 1. And it already looks okay, I think. It's styled quite nicely there.
Yeah, I like that.
What do you think? Good. So all I would recommend is to either try and have it on one line or multiple lines, just so you don't have one bit of text left over, like that one word left over. It doesn't look great.
As far as you know, so from my research, I know that there is like a plug-in that you can upload, and it helps you like customizing the titles, because what you can do with WordPress is like crap. Heading 1 looks awful, and this is why I'm not using it. It's so big and black, and so like style-wise, because it's all about style.
That's me. I've just changed the tag here to H1. So if you were to change it in your website, that's how it should look. It might not, but that's how it looks on here. Then, yeah, I mean, I don't know actually if there are any plugins to do that sort of thing, because the way we develop websites isn't like that. We tend to have a very simple theme and we build out. So we put the design onto the theme rather than trying to have a theme with a design and taking it back, which is often harder. There is somewhere I will show you though, if your husband wants to play with CSS.
Yeah.
If I just take you over to our website.
Yeah, he knows how to mess with CSS.
Okay, well, great. So if I just log in, and I will take you through to the customize section. So once I've logged into WordPress, you should get this black bar at the top, and you've got customize here. Click on customize. And for most themes, you should see an additional CSS section under customize.
Yeah. Some
themes might be different. I often use this for playing around with things because it's quite quick to do it, and it saves into the CSS for the site. And then if I actually want to use it across the whole site, I can put it in different places. But for you, this is a really good way of adapting it. So let's say I want to make this title really, really super big. I can, if I find out what this title is called, I think it will just be called site title.
No, he knows how to do this. He already did it. So this is.
Oh, so he's already able to go in and, right, brilliant. So he can, that's the best way I think of adjusting things, because you've got so much more control if you are willing to dig into the code. Okay, great. Well, I won't go any further than that, but hopefully that's useful for other people. Oh, just had a sneak peek of Beata's site, which we're coming on to in a minute. So the first thing to do is get another H1 tag on this page. As I said, not generally what I'd recommend, but in this case, we have to. So get another one on there. Make sure it's got the words interior designer and Bristol in. Italian, I think, is a good extra word. And then also make sure you've got the words interior and design and variations of throughout the page. I will show you a tool that might help with that in a minute. How many times you want it on there? I don't know. It's really, I use tools such as SEO Surfer, which I don't have time to go into now, but I'm just mentioning it for people who are interested. But tools like SEO Surfer will inspect your website and compare it to competitors for the keywords you're trying to get found for, and give you very detailed information about what text to include and where. But it's a paid for service.
Okay.
So what I recommend you do now is using Yoast and these unhappy little smiley face, or sorry, unhappy faces that you're seeing is, in fact, I can quickly show you on our site. Did I leave it open? Probably didn't leave it open. So if I go onto our site and I go into edit this particular page, then at the bottom of it, we'll have the Yoast box, the Yoast SEO box. And what I recommend you do is in this focus key phrase, put interior designer, because that's what you're focused on. And then once you do that, if you click at SEO analysis, it's going to give you recommendations of what you should do based on trying to optimize for that keyword. That is the first thing. It's going to tell you to include the word interior designer in the content more. It's going to tell you to get links out to other pages, links into that page. Lots of advice. Follow that first. Get your smiley faces. And then once you've done that, the next thing I'd do is run your site through this tool, Text Optimizer. I'll do it for you, but you'll want to make some of the changes that Yoast recommends first. So if I click on this, go to Text Optimizer, paste it in and go.
Yeah, I did that. It was quite like insufficient, like 1%. Like
work harder. Okay, don't worry about that. That's fine. It's just saying that you've got there's more you can do, and there's lots of other words.
Yeah.
So architectural. I mean, that might be a word you can put in there. Aesthetic.
Yeah.
Definitely. Palette. I mean, they're, obviously you want to make sure that the words mean something to you. You don't just want to put in the words just because this tool tells you to. You need to agree with that, because at the end of the day, the website is a reflection of you and your personality and your brand. So you don't want it to be saying words that you wouldn't use, but it might give you a reminder, go, oh, actually, yes, I do use that word. That's relevant. I'll put it in there. So it's just a guide.
Yeah. Could I ask if could you scroll down this page, my home page, and go to the Yoast, whatever?
Oh, I won't see it on here.
Oh,
I'm not logged in.
You're not on the.
Yeah. You'll have to have a look at that yourself. Let's see what else it would recommend. So that's one thing I'll do is sort of work on this page to really talk about interior design. Try and get on the keywords Bristol. So maybe getting on testimonials from people who are in and around the area. Talk about other areas like Bath, Cotswolds, Wiltshire, and so on. What else? Making sure your images are titled as well. So if we have a look at this image, I don't know if you've already gone through and done that. If I inspect that image, go through and have a look at your alt text. So here's the image, and it's got, if we sort of pick through all the garb here, we find this thing called alt. Now, what alt text is, it's a way of describing that image in text. And that helps people with a disability who need a speech reader, or it could help Google understand what that image is. So what I suggest you do is you make sure you go through and give each image alt text. First, start with the pages you want to optimize, your home page, but I would work through the entire site. It's a pain, but it is worth doing when you've got spare time. And I would describe the image in two ways. Firstly, try and describe it in a way that just tells people what's in the image. So as if you were trying to describe that image to someone over the phone. They can't see it, but you want to tell them about it. Don't make it too long. Its length is up to you. There is no limit on length, but I don't know, maybe 10 words is probably maximum. If you can slip in some keywords, do that as well. So you see that Text Optimizer mentions palette. Maybe you could mention that there's a blue or a marine palette to this image, perhaps. Well, there's the timer gone off. So we'll wrap up now. Or you could maybe mention other words that Text Optimizer has in there. But does that make sense? It's very difficult to be prescriptive about that exactly, but I think you'll work through it. So start off with describing the image as if it's to someone else, and then see if you can just pop in a couple of keywords where it makes sense. Okay. And I would do that all the way through for here. And you've actually got quite a few images. It might be worth adding a few more images as well. Certainly, if you need to add more text, you probably want to add more images that go along and illustrate what you're trying to say.
I always do this, like a block of text and an image.
Yeah, not having too much. It is very important.
Yeah, like working with me, like I need another image and I will add it. I mean, it's on the pipeline. Can I?
Do you have any pictures of you working with other people?
Not yet, but I have to. Yeah.
That would be good to see you at work, even if it's a little gallery underneath. So it could be a big one at the top to establish who you are, and then underneath just a gallery of you out and about working with people, because that gives then credibility. Because it's not, we get to see you, so that helps trust you more, but also we get to see you working with other people, which is nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, you were going to say something.
No, so just like this is all really amazing, really important to me. Like, shall I do this on every page of my website? So put like key heading, one title, and do the same, optimizing the images all through the pages in the website?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, start with this page. This is the most important page that you want to get found for.
Yeah.
So I'd definitely start with this page. Work through the other pages, but what you don't want to do is try and optimize the other pages for the same keyword.
Okay, so every
because they'll compete.
Different keyword. Okay.
Yeah, it's not you won't get penalized for it, but if you can think, if you're trying to optimize all the pages for interior designer, Bristol, Google is then going to find it harder to pick which page to show, and it might show the wrong page. Definitely had that before working with clients. It's called keyword cannibalization, as one of the SEO guys I work with calls it, and it basically means they're trying to, the site's trying to eat all the keywords in the wrong order. So yeah, focus on this one for interior designer, focus on different keywords for the others. To be honest, I would probably focus on this page about the company. This page is definitely about you. So you want to make sure that is all about you, and people searching for you, you want this page to come up. And then on the blog, I don't know how many blogs you've written. This is where you want to focus on longer key phrases. So people looking for help and advice, hopefully come across your blog. And one final thing before we finish off is, if you're doing that, let's go to the ultimate guide to choosing a dream sofa, and I'll get rid of this. So make sure, there's a heading 1 at the top, because it looks like there is one missing. Sorry, there is one missing at the moment. So definitely have a heading 1, which is the phrase you're trying to capture, or includes the phrase you're trying to capture, and a link back to the homepage.
Link back to the homepage.
Yeah. So ideally, if you're mentioning interior design or something related to that within the first paragraph or first few paragraphs, link back to the homepage there.
So what I do normally is at the bottom, I put a link to my contact page, say, if you need more advice, don't be shy, get in touch. And this is where I cross-link my contact page. Yeah,
no, that's good. But what we want to do is try and make the homepage look more important. We want lots of links going to it. Okay. So yeah, so I would try and find an opportunity. I'm just trying to look for one now, so if I can help you out, but I can't see anything right now. It may be that you need to.
I'll look for it.
Yeah, but again, don't overthink it or don't force it, shall I say. You can't. What you don't want to do is change your writing to fit search optimization. You've got to try and write with search optimization in mind if you can fit in opportunities for keywords. Yeah, thank you very much. That's great to look through. And actually, as a thanks for coming on, we'll give you 1 month free to our club as well. So you can go and have a look at any of the other videos that we've created over the last 3.5 years, all yours for 1 month. So thank you very much. Claire, do you want to tell everyone what we are doing, we're looking at next week?
So next week, we're joined by Libby Windle, who is a Google Ads campaign expert, I should say, and she's going to be running through how to set up your Google ad campaigns and to get them running efficiently, and share lots of tips and advice on the best way of doing that. Yes,
and she's running a campaign for us at the moment, for our club. That's next week at 10. So we run each of these at 10 o'clock. She's actually running an ads campaign for our club at the moment, so we can see if because after 3.5 years, it's about time we actually start marketing it. So that'll be interesting, and I think she's going to use some of what she's been doing on our campaign to give people to share that. So that might be quite interesting. Thanks, Claire. Thanks everyone else. We're here every Friday from 10 a.m. We cover everything in marketing. We do these open reviews every couple of months. Otherwise, we'll deep dive into certain topics from strategy, social, SEO, web development, video, and more. If you've got something exciting to share and you're a member, let us know. I'm more than happy for you to come on and talk about that. In fact, even if you're not a member, I'd love to have you on if you've got something interesting and insightful where people can learn. Do share the Zoom link with a friend if you're unable to come along. I'm more than happy for you to do that. Just let Claire know so we can welcome them on. And don't forget, you can catch up with, as I said, our last 3.5 years of webinars, which we now do weekly. They're on Basecamp and slowly moving over to our website as well. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.